Hello, collective. I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with the highest good. I was seeing in the pre-shuffle the Seven of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. All right, we're starting off with the Justice card and the Page of Swords. Okay. What I'm seeing going on right now is that there can be somebody around you. Let's just start off with this example, okay? There may be somebody around you that you see doing things in a way that you're like, you know what, that really agrees with me. And through you seeing this person like modeling things for you, and it can be like a book that you're reading, it can be a person that you're seeing, it can be like through a conversation that you overhear. Whatever this is that's being modeled for you, I'm seeing it kind of show you within you like what's resonating with you as far as like your values go. So you could be seeing something in, or even like seeing something within yourself and being like, it really agrees with me when I do this, and also vice versa. You could be seeing something and be like, that really rubs me the wrong way, or it really disagrees with me. And so there's this like thing that you're opening up to within you that's connected with your values. Probably more, we have like different types of values, okay? It looks like your values that are like your social values, especially playing out within your interpersonal relationships, or this is something that's going to impact your interpersonal relationships. So you could be like figuring out at this point, like, what does even like right and wrong look like to you? Because that's a subjective thing as well. It's like you just figuring out what that means to you. Because some people may think something is like wrong and you're like, I don't really see anything there being an issue with that. But what I'm getting right now is that it seems like the time to really pay attention to like what you're doing and also what you're seeing around you, and checking back in, and rather than just agreeing with it immediately or disagreeing with it immediately, it's checking back in and asking yourself, like, do I like that I do that? Does it agree with me when this person does that? And like, what does that mean for me as far as like a reflection of my values or not? So that's kind of what I'm seeing you opening up to. And this may have not been something that occurred to you in this way before. Like maybe before certain things, like you didn't think twice about it, and now you're kind of expanding when it comes to your values, like how you want to be treated, how you treat other people, what justice looks like to you. This can be on an even larger scale. It doesn't only have to do with your personal, interpersonal relationships. This can be like beyond and outside of that, like on a larger scale within society. So yeah, you can be like developing also your own like morals now at this point, your own values now at this point, or I'm getting confirmation of this. When we are younger, things are modeled for us, and generally, for the most part, we take those on as our own, just like from a psychological standpoint. That's what happens. And then as we start getting older, individuation occurs, and so we start sort of like pulling away from the pack, and that's when we develop our own understanding of like who we are as individuals and what we believe in, again, like from a psychological standpoint. So what is happening now is that there's like something that's beginning to develop that may feel more relevant to you now, and this is something that's going to impact your relationships. And there may be something that feels, I don't know, like a bit hard to look at with the Nine of Swords and now this Seven of Wands, which I was seeing in the I want to get more context for where this is coming from. This can be you seeing something and feeling upset about it. But the beautiful thing about this is that if you are seeing something and you feel a type of way about it, it's telling you that something is either agreeing with you or not. So it's like, it's an indicator for you. It's to help you navigate. If you can allow yourself to be open to sort of everything that you're experiencing right now, it does seem like a change is going to be birthed through you that wants to be birthed through you, but something may be a bit of a difficult situation to be moving through right now. Like, because something may just be a lot mentally, energetically, it could put you into this space where you feel a bit defensive or you don't feel as open. It's interesting because in the beginning of this, there is an openness, but because of the way that you're affected by it, you may then shut down, which is natural. The ego's like, we can't be open here right now, otherwise you're going to experience pain. And if you're motivated by what your ego is telling you, then this may be something where you do shut down. But if you can get to a point where you're not identified with the ego, it then gives you the choice of whether or not you do that. Because you can listen to like the advice of the ego and then still have that choice. You get to decide rather than it being an automatic thing where it's like, well, the ego said so, so now we're going to do that. So that's also why it's important to understand as well the function of the ego, because it is there to protect you, but it may stunt. Sometimes you could feel your spiritual growth because it's not being used properly, well, as effectively as possible for whatever it is that you have in mind here. But this is actually, if you can open yourself up to the change, like if you can get through something that's just feeling really difficult for you, because with the Nine of Swords, this can be something that has you feeling like very out of whack, especially mentally, like something that it's hard to sort of wrap your head around. If you can get to this point where it's something that you're like, you know what, this impacts me a lot, or it's really hard to move through and I'm going to move through it anyway because it's just going to be there otherwise. If you can get yourself to be open to the changes, it can create a different type of cycle for you. One that is like more aligned with what you want, especially on a deeper level. Because you may also feel right now that you're really just skimming the surface when it comes to certain relationships and you do want to go deeper, and this is going to be part of that for you. So that's basically what you would get out of doing this and what the point of it would be, what may motivate you to open up and change. And just allow things to stop blocking the flow. If you can allow this change, I am seeing the Nine of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. This is like a new chapter that you would feel aligned with, especially emotionally. You would feel also like things fall into place. And the Sun. Okay, so this would also be happy too. But you're understanding as well what needs to change, like what can no longer go on. But there can be a part of you that's like, that's going to be really hard for me. And that may be like what's blocking you right now. Like the fear and the unwillingness to let something go. It's to clear something out, because you may feel that what you would need to surrender is like too great. And there may be a part of you that's like, I don't want to let go of it. But I think that when we can lean into the trust side of things, rather than the fear side of things, it allows us to move into the dynamic of flow. Because I am getting that something's been sort of blocked up, and it's because of like not wanting to allow something to pass through because of the clinging to it. We're going to get more details specifically about this because I'm seeing a story beginning to unfold here. When you cling to something that's out of alignment, one of many reasons you may be doing this is because of a lack of faith of like being able to manifest something that would be more in alignment. So it's like, I'll hold on to this even though it's not really working for me. And doing it out of fear because it's like, well, what if I can't manifest this thing? But I'm actually seeing it's like blocking you from manifesting that thing that would be more in alignment. But there can be a lot of getting yourself to this point where you're working with the fear. But like, this is what your higher self has been communicating with you, yeah. Allowing something to come together that hasn't been together. And that you may feel you're really lacking within your life as well. Like something just may feel incomplete, like there's a lack of integration, and that's what this would afford you. Because I see this desire for things to be right in your eyes, and you're at this point where you're learning like what that would look like, but it's like the thing you want may also be the thing that brings up a lot of fear for you too. But I'm also seeing like better days ahead, because we go from the 9 of Swords, which is really feeling stuck mentally, but to the point where something feels very troublesome. But then we have the Sun, which is kind of like understanding what was going on and why you were in that space mentally, and how you can look at this in a way where there's hope that can be infused within this situation for you. Then to have the 6 of Swords, it's like allowing yourself then to move through this. But then we come back to this spot where it's like you're beginning to sort of move through it, and then having this 7 of Wands pop up, it's your ego being like, whoa, 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 like, are you really about to end this? And then that's sort of where this fear may be popping up again for you. May also just feel like sensitive around this subject. I'm seeing that you're going to be beginning something, a movement into something that feels very relevant now, and like it's resonating with you deeply. This feels like a big motion here. I do keep seeing the 8 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So this can be a process that you've been working on. Like maybe not something brand new. Maybe it's just a multifaceted process. There's something that you want to be more long lasting as well. So maybe that's also what you're keeping in mind too, like wanting something that's going to have maybe a longer duration than what you had been experiencing before. Let me just look this over. Okay, so you're in a situation, right? And I'm getting that you may know now like what the right thing would be to do within this, because what I'm getting is that you've been getting like really familiar with how you believe it's like in alignment for you to proceed, in alignment with your values. That means like, how is it right to be treating other people? how is it right to be acting? How is it right to be showing up within your relationships? But there can be something that feels very difficult about this. Like, to have the Justice and the Page of Swords, this is you like learning about and becoming much more aware of your interpersonal values, your values within your relationships, what's right and wrong within your relationships. However, you may now know that, like, now I feel called to do this certain thing because that's what's right to do in this situation, but I have a lot of fear around this, and it's bringing up a lot of defenses for me because of like the changes that would then ensue if I were to do this. So this is what I'm seeing is going on here. But I'm getting that you may be motivated enough to work through this because this new beginning is something that you want and it resonates deeply with you. And so it may give you hope that although you're going to have to face something that's challenging, you also are capable, able, willing, and ready to manifest something more in alignment for you. Now, like, this Libra placement feels very, very important because every sign has a light and a dark side to it. Light side is like it's like the more woke energy. It's being aware, it's understanding, like, if I do this, the effect is that. It's leaning into like the intelligence and the soul of the sign and the awareness, especially. In the dark energy or the shadow energy, it's like the shadow traits, the lack of awareness, the sometimes not transparent energy. When it comes specifically to Libra, Libra can be a people-pleasing energy. All of us have Libra within our charts. If you have major placements, you can find that this comes up more often, or if you interact with people with major Libra placements. Libra in its shadow can want to people please and sort of gloss things over and keep things harmonious but on the surface, and then not be doing things correctly below that to kind of keep the peace, but then it has more deeply rooted issues. So you may find that rather than maybe telling someone the truth within a situation, to not tell them and be like, I'm doing it for them, like it's better for them not to know. You know, like that sort of thing. Where you feel like you're doing it for them, but really it's people pleasing and it's also manipulative. That's just an example of the energy. Like, rather than telling somebody the truth and then giving them the autonomy and the agency to make their own choice, it's like, well, if I don't tell them, then they won't have that choice and then I'll get to do what I want within the situation. So it can be something like that. And there's no judgment. We're just explaining things here. So that can be like an interpretation of a shadow Libra energy. So yeah, what's going on is like there's a right and a wrong now that's popping up for you within this relationship. And it's like something that you can't unsee anymore, because maybe before this hadn't occurred to you, and now because of whatever it is that you've been exposed to, I'm just seeing you be aware of things that you may not have been aware of before, that now gives you a choice. And now that you have that choice, it may just feel like a lot for you, because you may be called to do something that's really difficult here. And there can be things that are popping up for you that it's making it challenging to move through this. But as I said before, if you do move in alignment with what you feel like is right and choose that path, it does seem like something is going to be entering the picture, or now you're finally opening the door for that thing to enter the picture, that deeply, deeply resonates with you, much more than what had been going on before, because something had been out of alignment. And you may have not been allowing something to get back into alignment because of sort of like refusing something that you have been called to do, which would like correct this, we can say. And you could have not realize that that's what was going on, but now I'm seeing you be aware that that was sort of what was blocking things from being in flow, in like higher alignment for you. But I'm seeing the outlook of finally cutting something off, like finally ending something, finally like making that call or doing this big thing that needs to be done so you could just put it to rest. I'm seeing you be like on the verge of that. If you have not already done it, I'm seeing you be very, very close. This looks like it's in the middle of this segment. it's coming up again that this is not just the very beginning of this process. I'm seeing this has been like a long drawn out thing for you. This is something that you've been working on. Some of you feel for ages, I'm hearing. It seems like something that's been happening for a while, but you may be sort of like at the climax now within this cycle where like all of the big stuff is sort of happening. It can feel. So what I'm seeing is going to be happening is that from what I'm seeing right now, the trajectory of the energy is that there is, I'm going to go over the signs in a second. There is a new chapter that you're going to be opening, and it seems like there's actually a connection that's within this that finally you feel like you can move to a better place with this person. And I'm seeing this feel like a higher alignment for you, and you also know that it's right because there's like something within it that you feel drawn to on some sort of like deep energetic spiritual level, that this would be correct for you. And I'm seeing this be a new path that you're going down that seems to have been calling you. And I'm seeing this feel like a very, very big deal for you that you finally like decided to go in this direction. It just seems like there are a couple things that need to happen, and then this is where I'm seeing you end things at the end of this cycle, which is also going to be the beginning of a new cycle. I'm seeing Taurus at the end of this. I'm also seeing Mercury, the Sun, Jupiter, and Libra at the top, and also Saturn. To have all of these energies too, like Jupiter can be like if you're brave and like make a decision that's aligned with your morals, like you'll get the benefit from that. The Sun is like, where am I putting my energy? Having Sun and Mercury together, this may have been really like mentally stimulating for you moving through this. Like there may have been a lot of mental energy that was used throughout this. To have Saturn, it means that there are physical things that are being asked of you that's going to help your manifestation materialize. And I'm seeing like an actual path that you're going to be moving down now. And I'm seeing the Hierophant and also the Magician be connected with this. So this also feels like something that you and your team have been manifesting as well. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.